Terror struck the United States over the weekend with 3 attacks in New York City, New Jersey, and Minnesota. Dozens of people were injured, but no one was killed. New York's governor has called the blast an obvious act of terrorism, while authorities continue the search for suspects and their motives. Lee Ju-won has the latest details.
5 people were taken into FBI custody on Sunday night in connection with Saturday's explosion in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood. According to ABC News, the FBI's New York field office conducted a traffic stop of a vehicle of interest in the investigation. As many as 5 people were taken in custody, but no one has been charged with any crime and the investigation is continuing. This comes a day after a bomb exploded in the Manhattan neighborhood of Chelsea in New York City on Saturday, injuring 29 people. Authorities said the blast was caused by an explosive device in or near what appeared to be a dumpster or garbage container. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said the explosion was an intentional act, but insisted there was no specific threat against New York City from any terror organization.
We know from everything we've seen so far that this was an intentional act. I want to reaffirm what I said last night. But again, we do not know the motivation. We do not know the nature of it. That's what we have to do more work on.
Shortly after the blast, police sniffer dogs uncovered a second bomb nearby, a pressure cooker with wiring attached. Pressure cookers were used in the 2 bombs detonated at the Boston Marathon in 2013. The incident in New York was one of 3 different acts of terror that rocked the country in a single day and came less than a week after the U.S. observed the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. About 11 hours before the bombing in New York, a pipe bomb blew up inside a garbage can in Seaside Park, New Jersey, shortly before a scheduled charity race. Fortunately, no one was wounded. In another incident, a Somali attacker who made references to Allah stabbed and wounded 9 people at mall in Minnesota. He was later shot dead by an off-duty police officer. The Islamic State group claimed responsibility for the Minnesota attack, but made no similar claims about the incidents in New York and New Jersey.
A possible terror cell in New York City, in New Jersey, not lone wolf attacks, but possibly this organized group. If that's true, then we're talking about a coordinated terror attack by a group of people working together. So let's talk about that. David Rohde is a CNN Global Affairs analyst and National Security Investigations editor for Reuters. Tom Fuentes is a CNN senior law enforcement analyst and former FBI assistant director. And Art Roderick is a CNN law enforcement analyst and former assistant director of the U.S. Marshal Service. Welcome to all of you.
Morning.
Good morning. So David, if this is a cell, how worried should we be?
Well, the fact that they've released, the suspect's name, it means they're trying to sort of, in pictures, drive him underground, maybe spook them, block them from carrying out some kind of follow-up attack. But just the number of devices that have been found, it's clearly very alarming. And in terms of the foreign connection, it's not clear. He's an Afghan, but my suspicion, if it's any foreign tie, it's to ISIS and Syria itself. This would be more a case of a young, he seems like he had very little, spent very little part of his life in Afghanistan. So maybe a group that radicalized online. The worst case would be if someone had been in Syria and came back. That would give them, better skills to carry out.
Well, here's something that is kind of confusing. So there's this terrible stabbing spree at a mall in Minnesota, right? ISIS claimed responsibility for that, but we haven't heard a peep out of ISIS as it concerns New York and New Jersey. Why would that be, David?
It's odd. You would think that ISIS would sort of leap at the chance to get credit for this. So there's a chance that ISIS is not directing the cell in New York. Again, there has been this, we've seen this stream of attacks, and it can be 2 or 3 lone wolves who somehow got together and radicalized online. To be fair, and the important thing is to not alarm people. We don't know. Law enforcement knows, but I certainly don't know at this point.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us during this very busy time. It's important to get the information out there. The man on our screen right now, believed to be Ahmad Khan Rahami, a 28-year-old Afghan, Afghanistan of descent from Afghanistan, now here in the U.S. Authorities are looking for this man. Is this what you've been told?
That's right, Chris. I'm going to give you a couple of details here. Ahmed Khan Rahami, he is a New Jersey resident, 28-year-old, naturalized United States citizen. He is wanted for questioning. That photo is going out just now to the public, as you said. I want to make very clear that this individual could be armed and dangerous. He should be treated as armed and dangerous. Anyone seeing him should call 911 immediately. But we definitely have now someone that we want to get in immediately for questioning.
Mr. Mayor, are the authorities still saying that this man is part of a broader cell that they believe was operating in New Jersey? Is that still their consistent theory?
It's too early to say if there's something bigger. We know we want to get this individual in. And what's important now, and this is why we always want to make sure law enforcement defines each step of the way what we believe is happening. We need the facts to be able to piece all this together and define, was it an individual? Was it more than one individual? Do these different incidents relate? I think we're going to know a lot more in the course of today. Things are moving very quickly, and certainly we're going to have a lot more to say in just the next coming hours.
So what do you mean by we have to get tough? Specifically, Donald Trump, what is the policy in Donald Trump's administration to getting tough?
Well, first of all, we have to, these are sick people, okay? These are sick, evil people that want to destroy this country. And the way we coddle them and the way we're afraid to say anything and we're afraid to say what the problem is and who they are, and they don't want to say radical Islam, they don't want to talk about radical Islamic terrorism. Obama won't even say the words, neither will Hillary Clinton.
But those are just words. What do you mean by getting tough? What do you mean by getting tough, though?
We're going to have to hit them much harder over there, and we're going to have to find out. You know, our police are amazing. Our local police, they know who a lot of these people are. They're afraid to do anything about it because they don't want to be accused of profiling, and they don't want to be accused of all sorts of things. You know, in Israel, they profile. They've done an unbelievable job, as good as you can do.
Sure.
But Israel has done an unbelievable job, and they'll profile. They profile. They see somebody that's suspicious, they will profile. They will take that person in. They'll check out, do we have a choice? Look what's going on. Do we really have a choice? We're trying to be so politically correct in our country. Mm-hmm. And this is only going to get worse. This isn't going to get better. And I've been talking to you guys for years, and I've been saying it. This is only going to get worse. And what I said is you have to stop them from coming into the country.
And, of course, that's what, you know, that's one of the primary tenets of your entire campaign about immigration into the country.
And it has been. This isn't just something that I developed overnight because of this. I knew this was going to happen.
You've been talking about it for a very long time. You were busy. You were tweeting over the weekend. Last night you sent this out. Under the leadership of Obama and Clinton, your tweet reads, Americans have experienced more attacks at home than victories abroad. Time to change the playbook. Okay, change the playbook. How?
Well, we're going to have to do something extremely tough over there, okay?
Like what?
Over there, like knock the hell out of them. And we have to get everybody together, and we have to lead for a change because we're not knocking them. We're hitting them every once in a while. We're hitting them in certain places. We're being very gentle about it. We're going to have to be very tough, and you have other countries over there that are getting devastated far more than we are, and you have to get them together. It's called leadership, and they have to fight. You know, they have to fight the battle. The battle's over there, and we have to fight the battle. And we can't let any more people come into this country. And when we have bad ones, you know, we have people going over fighting for ISIS and coming back, and we know they're fighting for ISIS, and we take them.
Right.
Once you leave this country, you fight for ISIS, you never come back.
But the problem is,
the Islamic Republic of Iran, His Excellency Hassan Rouhani, for his able spirit of challenges and threats which the world now faces.
إن هذا العدوان الأمريكي الجبان يعتبر اعتداء خطيرا وسافرا ضد الجمهورية العربية السورية وجيشها ودليلا لا يحتاج إلى برهان على دعم الولايات المتحدة وحلفائها من عرب ودول في الإقليم لتنظيم داعش الإرهابي وغيره من المجموعات الإرهابية المسلحة. لا يمكن أيها السادة أن تعتدي الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية على دولة ذات سيادة عضو في الأمم المتحدة وفي حركة عدم الانحياز، ومن ثم تدعي بأن ما حدث هو عبارة عن خطأ فني. لا يمكن لذلك أن يمر مرور الكرام. هذا عدوان سافر، ومن يتردد في إدانة هذا العدوان هو شريك فيه.
Authorities in New Jersey have found up to 5 bombs in a backpack less than 48 hours after a pair of explosions in New York City and Seaside, New Jersey. WPIX caught the moment one of the devices in Elizabeth, New Jersey detonated early Monday. It started when 2 men found a backpack in a trash can near a train station late Sunday. The pair reportedly dropped the bag and called police when they saw wires and a pipe in it. As a bomb squad was inspecting the devices, at least 1 bomb detonated.
The robots that were going in to disarm it cut a wire and it exploded.
No one was injured. Investigators were seen raiding an apartment above a restaurant near the incident Monday morning. As of early Monday, investigators had not officially linked this weekend's explosions in New York City and New Jersey to one another. Police took 5 people into custody for questioning in the New York City incident. New Jersey Transit and Amtrak train service resumed Monday morning after service was suspended overnight.
What we're going through here is a scenario where we've had to restore the integrity of an international border. So we've launched an attack to clear an enemy pocket out. What we're now doing, what you're seeing behind you, is a guard force moving to sit on the border and ensure no further enemy incursion.
We're on the exercise Venerable Gauntlet, which is the first major interoperability exercise for the Very High Readiness Joint Task Force. We've got 155 self-propelled guns and the Spanish 105 towed light gun. In the battle situation, that means primarily attrition, suppression of the enemy, and delivering those effects for the maneuver arm.
We are an armoured infantry battle group in the BJTFL, consisting of UK Warriors, you can see straight through there, Warrior infantry fighting vehicles. We've got our Estonian brothers and their Patriot vehicles, and beyond that in the far distance are a Polish company with some BMP-1s and their own Patriot vehicles.
We are doing an exercise of clearing buildings and clearing an area. Now we're taking positions. They are doing fire support, and that section is going to clear the 4 buildings of there. Casa aislada, casa aislada. Solicito permiso para traer. We are sharing knowledge, tactics, procedures to get the stronger.
As a Albanian soldier, I look forward to working with everybody else, you know, and most importantly, I need to show them that I can interoperate with everybody. So we stand united. This is the message we are trying to convey to everybody, because we can show the world that we united, we can pass every obstacle that comes on our way.
ISIS has used the word soldier to describe a man accused of attacking shoppers at a Minnesota mall. CBS News has identified the suspect as Dahir Adan. Law enforcement has not released his name. 9 people were stabbed at the shopping center Saturday night. The possible terror attack happened shortly after the explosion in New York City. Dean Reynolds is at the Crossroads Center Mall in St. Cloud, northwest of Minneapolis. Dean, good morning.
Good morning. The victims of Saturday's attack range in age from 15 to 53 years of age. All of them are expected to survive. The mayor of St. Cloud said the man involved, identified as a naturalized American citizen from Somalia, is dead because an off-duty police officer was in the right place at the right time.
We are currently investigating this as a potential act of terrorism.
Police say Saturday's attack began just after 8 p.m. when Dahir Adan, a college student in his 20s, entered a Sears store on the mall's southeast corner. A law enforcement source tells CBS News He asked people if they were Muslim and used a knife to stab those who said they were not. The rampage ended minutes later at a Macy's store where Adan was shot and killed by Jason Faulkner, an off-duty Minnesota policeman.
His heroic actions are exemplary. Having witnessed what he did, not only did he fire, the suspect went down, he came back up on 3 different occasions.
This guy comes out, he's African American, wearing a blue or black security outfit.
Ryan Schleep had just entered the mall when he was attacked.
Knew he was going to strike me, so I tried to brace myself for it, and then he just did one fast motion to the side of my head.
Schleep fell to the ground and watched as Adan continued through the mall.
There was no official lockdown or alarm going off. There's no mall security anywhere.
Minnesota is home to the largest Somali American population in the U.S., one which has been heavily scrutinized for its threat of domestic radicalization. Adan had lived in the United States for a number of years. On Sunday, Somali and Muslim community leaders gathered to condemn the violence.
Any evil is evil. It does not mean that if that one person does anything bad, it's representative of everyone in our community. That is very wrong.
Now, it's unclear to the FBI whether ISIS actually planned this attack or simply inspired it. To hear Adan had 3 encounters with Minnesota law enforcement in the past, although most of them were for traffic violations. Charlie?
Dane, thanks.
Police that there was reports of a suspicious device found on 13th Street. There is new breaking development just as we stand here as Broadway has become back open. Now, we were looking at a closure earlier with ESU teams here on Broadway from 14th all the way down to 12th shut down. That suspicious device was reported at 60 East 13th Street. It seems that the crews have now been cleaned up. If they have, in fact, picked up a device, we're not sure at the moment. I'm just seeing this road reopen now. Earlier, we were seeing many crews, tactical gear, ESU, FDNY, ambulances standing by as well as police investigated the reports of this package. Strap hangers and commuters, I should say, were not able to cross the street down Broadway, but it seems the subway station here at Union Square is open and things are moving normally. So that's the latest that we have right now. We just saw this street reopen after reports of a suspicious device again here near Union Square on East 13th Street.
It was the 6th attack in 48 hours. A Palestinian man stabbing 2 police officers near Harad's Gate in Jerusalem's Old City. Both officers were taken to a nearby hospital. The suspected attacker's condition is unknown.
The female officer was injured seriously.
Israeli police spokesman Mickey Rosenfeld says police mobilized quickly to secure the area.
The area around the Old City of Jerusalem is closed off and heightened security continues in the area.
Near daily attacks have killed at least 215 Palestinians, 33 Israelis, and 2 Americans since last October. But after months of relative calm, this weekend's violence has put the city back on edge.
The recent Syrian ceasefire, organized by both the United States and Russia, may have only been a temporary ceasefire. What only began a week ago has been significantly strained over the weekend. Russian officials say that the U.S. coalition against the Islamic State jets killed more than 60 Syrian soldiers. This U.S.-Russian agreement is the second ceasefire that the two countries brokered this year, all done in the hopes of finding a political solution that could lead to the end of this 6-year civil war, which has already taken the lives of hundreds of thousands of Syrians and displaced many more.
The FBI said the investigation is in its early stages, and it's not known if the man had discussed his plan with others. Authorities have declined to identify the suspect who was killed by an off-duty policeman. According to local police, the man was wearing a private security uniform. Police say he made references to Allah and asked at least one person if they were Muslim before assaulting them. 3 victims remain in hospital as of Sunday, but none had life-threatening injuries.
Israeli News Live here, guys. We are overlooking the Syrian border here in the Golan here with Damascus in the background, and you may not be able to hear it here using the capture here that we're using, and as of right now it's not going off right this very second here, but every few seconds here, heavy shelling to the far east of Damascus. Let me kind of turn a little bit here with you so you guys can see Damascus. It's so hard to see when the camera's backed out like this here. Later this evening on Israeli News Live, we'll be sharing with you some of this footage here. Far east of Damascus is definitely a major battleground right now. There is no question prophecy is about to be fulfilled. Damascus, we know, becomes a ruinous heap. And no matter how hard President Vladimir Putin is trying to keep Bashar al-Assad protected from all this fighting here, the U.S.'s latest strike supporting ISIS there, they claim that it was an accident. Okay, I'll say they claim that. I agree, they claim that. It does, as President Putin, as also his foreign minister to the United Nations, that say it's highly suspicious, the activity. The day before, they're rejected by the moderate rebels. Perhaps they did this to show their allegiance to ISIS, that they would back them. All they want to do is topple Bashar al-Assad. Now, President Obama has made that very clear. He wants to topple Bashar al-Assad. But the thing is what's making this bad here, guys, they're going to bring down Damascus, and this may end up igniting a third world war. Russia's already high tensions with the United States, major troop movement everywhere. Even Israel is fortifying their own Golan Heights here. But the shelling is massive to the east of Damascus.
Well, the Turkish army says its air force has pounded Daesh positions in north of Syria. The Turkish warplanes hit three purported Daesh targets used as shelters, an ammunition depot, and the terrorist group's military headquarters. The airstrikes were reportedly carried out on Sunday. Turkey began an incursion into Syria in late August in what it says was an attempt to secure its southern belt from the threat of Daesh terrorists. The Turkish troops have also launched attacks against U.S.-backed Syrian Kurdish militants in the north of the neighboring country. The Syrian government says any military assault on its soil should be conducted with Damascus's prior consent.
Pitching their tent next to the same sea they risked their lives crossing. From here they can clearly see the Turkish coast where they sailed from. Their new home is a beach next to a refugee camp staffed by volunteers, which was set up last year. Now it houses about 1,000 men, women and children, officially anyway.
As you can see, people even stay in the beach, in camping tents, because there is no space inside the camp. And I think these people in this tent are not counted.
A repatriation agreement between the European Union and Turkey came into effect on the 20th of March. Since then, nobody's been transferred from islands like this to the mainland.
All the time
Wasim Omar, an English teacher, arrived with his wife and 3 children just after the cut-off date. It's been months since they had their asylum interview, and he says they're starting to lose hope.
In Syria, when there's bombing, you just die one time. But here, every day, you die many times. Because when you sit and looking at your children and you're looking and review about your future, review about your life, and you say to yourself that when you live in Syria, your life is more better than here.
The refugee crisis has led to a drop in the number of tourists coming here from Europe. And recently, some local residents have staged angry protests calling for the camps to be closed. The town's deputy mayor says the situation is unfair on everyone.
We have 2 populations that are living in the same city together. They were friendly at the beginning, but they were abandoned by the EU and the Greek government. And at the moment, they both have to be supported in order to find a way to overcome this crisis.
This wall next to the camp is part of an ancient fortress built to keep out the enemy. But now some of the refugees here feel like they're coming up against invisible walls of bureaucracy and mistrust. And it's all having an effect on their health. This Syrian woman didn't want to be identified, but she told us her mental health has suffered since being beaten by Greek police. Al Jazeera can't verify that allegation, but the scars from her cutting herself with a piece of glass are real enough.
I'm thinking of ending my life, because this is not Europe. Europe is supposed to be a place of law and human rights.
Some of the refugees here dream of a life in another country. Others do feel supported in Greece, but still want to know when they can move on to start to study or to work. And right now, nobody has any answers.
Tensions between India and Pakistan are high following a deadly militant attack on an army base in the Indian-controlled Kashmir. The Indian Army says militants stormed the administrative center near the Pakistan border early Sunday, lobbing grenades. At least 17 soldiers died in the attack. 4 of the militants were killed. On them, the Indian Army says it found items bearing Pakistani markings. Initial reports suggested the same Pakistani-based Islamist group linked to an attack on an Air Force base earlier this year was responsible. The January attack, in which 7 Indian security forces were killed, halted efforts to restart peace talks between India and Pakistan. Indian politicians have condemned the most recent attack on social media. India's Home Minister said he was deeply disappointed with Pakistan's support of terrorist groups. He pointed out that the militants were highly trained and specially equipped. Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised that those behind the attack would be punished. Pakistan has denied that it harbors militants and in turn accuses India of supporting separatist rebels in Pakistan.
I make a fist to squeeze the tag to the top of my skin. And when I approach the device, it opens the Facebook page I set it to.
Colin Cravino has a microchip implanted in both of his hands.
Some people just look really grossed out. I put my hand up and I let them poke at it and they freak out.
Developed in the 1950s and 60s, RFID chips, short for radio frequency identification, have been used by retailers to track packages and prevent theft. Farmers use the chips to keep tabs on their livestock. Pet owners use them to identify their cats and dogs. And lately, members of the so-called body hacker movement have been implanting RFID chips under their skin, programming them to perform various tasks. Colin Cravino, a smartphone repairman in Brooklyn, New York, uses his chips to open his front door. He found them on a website called Dangerous Things that sells implant kits and offers user tips.
I came across it when I was doing research on the Samsung deadbolt that I bought. And then the first thing that I noticed was that I could get an RFID tag that would work with the deadbolt.
Cravino plans to modify one of his motorcycles next.
And I haven't decided on where I want to put the authenticator, the antenna, thinking probably down by the seat somewhere because this comes off. So I would just tap my hand on it. Then the light would come on as if I put the key in, and then I would just hit the ignition and start the vehicle.
RFID retailers estimate that between 30 and 50,000 people worldwide have chip implants in their bodies. German tech consultant Andreas Sjöström used his chip as a boarding pass on a recent flight from Stockholm to Paris, and to get into an airport VIP lounge. Skeptics say the implants raise privacy issues and worry that strangers could tap into the information on a chip without the owner's knowledge. Others say potential uses for the technology, such as keeping track of a patient with dementia, could pose ethical concerns. but Crovino and others see a future where technology and the human form will merge.
I think when it becomes more prevalent and there's a lot more things and options that you can do with this, that people will, opt in for that kind of augmented human sort of attitude. That's why I have an Android device and not an iPhone, is because I want to be able to customize everything I have, so why should I not be able to customize myself?
A manhunt continues right now in Denver after a person is shot in the thigh near Sheridan and Dartmouth. Now, the victim is getting treated. We expect that person to make a full recovery. We've asked police for a description of the suspect, but so far they have not released any information to us.
Newly leaked documents from Australia's offshore detention centre on Nauru Island suggest allegations of unreported sexual assault of women and children's attempts of self-harm. The new accounts are only part of documents filed by caseworkers on Nauru Island between January and March this year. They detail cases of sexual abuse, harassment, and rape of women. They also indicate asylum seekers as young as 10 tried to end their lives by jumping off roofs, cutting their wrists, and even walking in front of moving traffic.
The city of Dubai is testing a driverless minibus this month along a 700-meter stretch of road in the city centre. The 10-seater vehicle has a maximum speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Its developers say its guidance technology allows the bus to adapt its speed to its surroundings and stop if a pedestrian were to cross its path. Dubai plans to replace a quarter of its public transport with automated vehicles by 2030.
Japan is throwing things into disorder over the same time period, trying to confuse the South China Sea situation under the pretense of acting for the international community. Japan's actions have simply pushed other countries away from it, and it has failed to compel other nations to see its point of view. I warn Japan in two aspects. China is resolute in its determination to protect its sovereignty and maritime interests. China will jointly maintain peace and stability with the Southeast Asian countries.
So I was president of the Senate in Haiti in 1994 when Bill Clinton invaded the island. And I have the records about the Clinton Foundation. And I want to have a few minutes today to talk about that. First of all, to understand where I come from, I am from both cultures. I am from the American culture because I came here at a very early age. And while you went to New York Military Academy, I went to New Jersey, a military academy in New Jersey. About the same time, we are about the same age. You could have been my underclassman. So really, you understand me and I will understand you. Okay? So but my dream was to go back to Haiti, to do for Haiti what I had seen in the United States. Free enterprise system, the justice system you have here, and fight corruption in Haiti. And in 1991, I was elected Senator of Haiti. The same year, Jean-Bertrand Aristide was elected president. In February of 1994, I became president of the Senate. And I had to deal with the Clinton invasion of Haiti. And I learned so much about the Clinton because I was working so much with the American intelligence at that time. Clinton wanted to buy me out. And I remember that I was hitting very hard on several fronts. Today Show, Good Morning America, and once I was in Nightline with Senator Dole. And to try to appease me, he sent me Bill Richardson, who was actually congressman at that time. And I spent 4 hours with Bill Richardson in my office in Port-au-Prince, explaining to him how they should not invade Haiti and how this was a bad idea to return Aristide to power. And I even mentioned that President Reagan in 1986 had sent one airplane to pick up Duvalier. I said, that's the way to do it. You want to get rid of those generals? Send an airplane. I will help them into that airplane. So we spent 4 hours. I discussed it with Bill Richardson because I said to Bill, take the message back to President Clinton. I know you are here because he sent you. A week later, after my conversation with Bill Richardson, the American embassy called me, as it was often the case, and they said, President Clinton has a messenger for you. I said, send him over. He came, did not give me his name, but told me, Mr. Sensori, you join our movement. You side with Bill Clinton in this invasion and we'll make you the richest man in Haiti. I said, sir, tell President Clinton for me Bernard Sensori is not for sale. I have principle and I love my country. A week later, by executive order, Clinton revoked my visa. I was then a resident of the United States. I am now a citizen of the United States. And this is how it's been in Haiti. The Clinton, when after the invasion, they started a cellular company called Fusion International. To make a long story short, now it's Digicel who is taking over, and his friend Dennis O'Brien has given millions to the Clinton Foundation. In 2010, the earthquake of Haiti, not only American taxpayers, but the whole world has given billions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation for the Haitians. Not even 2% of that money went back to Haiti. So Mr. Trump, we are asking you, begging you, the Haitian community will side with you if one day you ask Hillary Clinton publicly to disclose the audit of all the money they have stolen from Haiti in 2010 after the earthquake. Haiti is a very poor country. Haiti needs defenders. You said you will champion our cause. We welcome you, sir, and we will work with you. But please, ask publicly Hillary Clinton, during your next debate, to publish the audit of all the money they have stolen from Haiti. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Incredible. That's a terrible experience you've had.
I have other experience, sir. Like George Sadi said, you know, I have proof because I have worked with American intelligence about the drugs coming from Haiti to the United States and how the money went back to Haiti, you know, in cornflakes boxes. It's unbelievable. And that money was used to pay lobbyists in Washington, D.C. during the Clinton administration, and the money found its way all the way to the White House. Sir, please, the Haitian people is counting on you.
Really amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
People need to understand, these people that run this world, they don't speak through language. They speak through numbers, dates, colors, signs, and symbols. And if you don't understand that concept, you're truly never going to understand how they operate, and therefore, more than likely, not going to get it. Okay, let's take a look. This New York City, the Chelsea area, reminds me of course, Chelsea Clinton. What do you see here? The double horn shirt, the upside down cross. Just like Bill Clinton said recently about Hillary working like a demon. Give me a break. Now, again, always with these hidden messages, hidden symbols in plain sight. Again, it's always about the occult. Take a look at this little dumpster here. You get your 3 and 3, and the 2 and 1, you get your 3 3s. The occult right there. Now, also, they always have these little, props hidden in plain sight with this plastic bag. With this explosion going off, I find it interesting. You still see this plastic bag in the vicinity. Take a closer look. Always, again, about the occult. Get your 33 with this plastic on it. Not by chance, okay? These are props. People say, oh, you're being ridiculous. No, it's you just don't understand how they operate. It's nothing more than a staged event, and this is how they do it. Okay? Another example, these firefighters, two walking. Why would they take a picture of their back? You see the name Leonard, you get your Colt of 33. Okay, this is how they do it. Okay? Now, as far as, which I find interesting, are these people involved always with these crisis actors. Take a listen to this guy here, and not just this one, I'm going to point out a couple others. I'm going to play this clip. You're going to realize this is not just some random bozo they picked out of the crowd to interview. Just like this event was planned, these people that are being interviewed, they were planned to be part of this hoax, this psyop, given lines to say exactly what they're supposed to say. This guy, without a shadow of a doubt, without going into too much information, you're going to tell this guy is nothing but a crisis actor. But again, I'm going to show some details on him. It's going to show and prove without a shadow of a doubt he was selected for this hoax. Take a listen first off with what he has to say. I'll point out some other things as well when he's speaking.
See if I could see anything. There were other neighbors looking out of their windows asking me if I was okay.
One thing you'll notice, this video is not the best quality, but he has an earpiece. This is, of course, for the studio to communicate to him, to cut him off when necessary, or feed him lines in this situation.
It was a very...
Now this is interesting here. They went from that segment, they went to this one, and now the earpiece is gone. He's wearing a shirt.
Chaotic situation. People were scared. People were on their phones. I was around for 9/11.
This guy's too happy, too smiley again. Just happy to be on TV. These people, they have no souls. They'll do anything for a buck. That's what it all comes down to. And also, I'm going to show again this guy that wants to be famous. He's trying hard to be famous, just like many past psyops and hoaxes. These people have a history, which I'll point out in a little bit.
I remember walking down the West Side Highway and seeing kind of, obviously not to this extreme, but it was very reminiscent of that kind of a feel. Yeah, people were scared, and you could see it on their faces.
Yeah, this guy looks really scared. Let's get a close-up here. Again, of that earpiece. Again, it's kind of hard to see with this video. It's kind of blurry, but
there were other neighbors
you can clearly see it there.
Windows, asking me if I was okay. It was a very chaotic situation.
Now I'm going to show some footage. This guy definitely has a history in the media. And there you go. Singer, songwriter. Okay? Aiden Leslie. There you go. Just pull this guy again, ran him out of the streets. Take a look here at these music videos. I'll position this a little bit better here. Take a look here. Here he is in this one music video trying to leave now. He's in New York. There he is. Give me a break. Yeah, come on, give me a break. Now another video here. Interesting title, Diamond Dream. So again, not just some random bozo they picked out of the crowd. And here's another one. His name is Ben Brooks. Listen to him speak here. You could tell he had some dealings in the media or whatnot. He's a very articulate speaker. Did a little research, and I'll get into that a little bit. But first off, let's play this video. I'll get into that.
Outside having dinner, and I felt a loud explosion. It felt like a lightning bolt struck the building.
Lightning bolt struck the building. Okay, I'll get into that in a little bit after I deal with this guy. Always about the occult, with these scripted interviews with these crisis actors. Always, again, the occult, like I stated, which I'll get into.
Like shook the ground, and everyone ran out of the restaurants in the street. The whole city was in the street. I've never seen so many cops drive the wrong way. Fire trucks, undercover cops driving the wrong way aggressively, like 20, 30 miles an hour, upstream of 7th Avenue. Closed everything down. People smelled smoke. First they thought it was a building collapsed, and we heard it was an IED.
People smelled smoke. Okay, there was an IED.
And everything else. Everyone's on Twitter, but the whole neighborhood shut down. We're supposed to go see a movie tonight. That shut down. Everything shut down. It seems like a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos, okay? It's all about order out of chaos. This guy knows about masonry, and I'll show that. This guy definitely is given lines to speak, and he also, again, knows about masonry. Let's take a look at this guy here, which I found pretty interesting. First, let's go to his YouTube channel. Just like I showed Aiden Leslie. Let's take a look here, okay? And here's his official YouTube channel, which I'll get into, Ben Brooks. Let's take a look at this video right here. This is him.
What excites me is helping people realize their potential, for them to see that potential and then take the action to make it happen. One thing that really shaped me was moving to New York. I ended up getting a job here. I was never expecting to move here, and I moved very quickly, and I came with one suitcase. And it was a bit of a rude awakening, of course, as a lot of people have when they come to New York. But I found both in my business community and my social life, the possibilities here are just tremendous.
They sure are. Being a crisis actor is very tremendous, I guess. Now, getting back to his YouTube channel, I found this pretty interesting. With his liked videos. Probably shouldn't have made this public. What does it say here? Liked videos, masonry. Give me a break. Masonry. Okay, this guy's into masonry. He knows what masonry is about. Okay, he's part of this club. Now, what are the chances you have a musician as a witness? And this guy here as well, like I stated, Ben Brooks, being witnesses. This guy obviously into masonry and trying to make it big. Masons, of course, they make it on top of this world. Well, the rest of us, we get the crumbs, like I say so many times. There's no coincidence. Now, they always have their oddballs too. They have, I just showed these two. Now they always have an oddball with the crisis actors. Take a listen to this one. This woman here, I mean, completely bizarre woman, overdoing it, overacting. Take a listen.
Of that sort here so far. You have a witness. Let's hear what she has to say.
Deborah, you
got your 111 as well. They love their occultic numbers when they go to live broadcasts. If you haven't watched my previous videos, you're not going to understand this. It's like they're 311s or 411s or 111s and whatnot.
were in the area when the blast went off. Is that correct?
Yes, I was.
Where were you?
I was in a burrito place, vegetarian place, and the lady was fixing my burrito, and I was getting ready to sit down and eat, and all of a sudden we hear a boom, and I mean it was loud and shook the building.
Got this woman, too much, overacting, 100% crisis actress.
And everything, it was a bam, and then we ran. We saw people running to us, holding their ears, coughing and wiping their eyes and stuff like that. And we, are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right? And while we was doing that, we saw a big cloud of smoke. It was clear, and it was a fireball in between.
Give me
That's
a
how
break.
we saw it. When the fire was going up, I mean not the fire, because you didn't see fire. You saw like a moon, but it was red. And then
It's a very clear reference to the blood moon as mentioned in the Bible. Definitely scripted interview. Describing a bomb, explosion, and talking about a red moon. No, this is definitely Lines Fedger specifically told to say this stuff without a shadow of a doubt.
and then you saw a cloud around it, and everybody was running and running and running and running, and we was just watching. We was asking people, are they all right? Are they all right? But I would not go over there. I didn't want to go over there, but it was bad. It was real bad. We thought it was the building collapsing, or we thought it was, I thought, because I don't know anything about bombs or anything like that, so I thought it was a gas explosion, because I know they're working on that building over there. But come to find out, it was something different.
So they are working on a building over there by 23rd?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
So
They had the scaffolding and everything up, so I thought it was that.
Was the explosion by that building?
Yes, it was near the building, as far as I could see.
In front of it?
In front of it, yes, around in that area, because I didn't go all the way down. But it was big enough for me to see it. I mean, it was big. It was real big.
So you were at the burrito place one more time in terms of location. Was where again?
It's like
24th?
24th and 7th.
24th
Right
and
where the
7th.
where the one train is.
Right. So you come out here on 24th and 7th and you see the explosion. You said
I didn't
it was
come out. I was out here all day.
Yeah.
I went to Home Depot, and then I went to Burlington, and then I was ready to eat. I was hungry. See, I'm fasting, so I went over there and get me a burrito, and then all of a sudden it was this big bang, and I mean a bad bang.
Deborah, thank you so much.
You're
Very much
welcome.
appreciated.
You're welcome.
Again, that's what we've been hearing in terms of our...
Give me a break. This woman reminds me of that Charles Ramsey guy. Just as you see here from a past hoax in Ohio, the cult of Ramsey, as I mentioned before in a previous video. Now again with the occult, with this fitness club where they show the footage. It's called Orange Theory Fitness. And again, Chelsea. And again, all about Freemasonry. The only color in numerology that is 33. Let's play this clip here. Take a look.
Outside in the streets and the effect. And then there was also video that shows what happens inside this very same location from Orange Theory Fitness in the location. And there's
out of all the locations they're going to have, this surveillance video is from Orange Theory. Basically a Masonic theory, the cult of Orange. Now take a look here. It looks like it's about to snow inside here.
Surveillance video. This is the inside video, and you can...
You watched my video on Paris, same exact thing. It looks like it's snowing. Supposed glass going everywhere. Give me a break. It's complete garbage.
See that tempered glass breaking, not falling, but completely broken because of the bomb blast. That is what we're also watching at 12:45 local time in terms of what this means.
This reminds me, again, going back in time with the Paris hoax, that PSYOP happened months ago.